In today's video, I'm diving deep into some things you can say to the narcissist if your goal is to shut them down once and for all. And be sure to stick around till the end of the video because I'm also going to give you some powerful truth bombs that will not only shut the narcissist down, but will stop their flying monkeys and little minions dead in their tracks. You don't want to miss this. Let's get started. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamie M Joyce. I'm an empowerment life coach specializing in codependency and narcissistic abuse recovery for empaths, scapegoats, and awakening light leaders. If you're new to my channel, a very special welcome. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a new video. So let's talk about what to say to a narcissist to shut them down once and for all. But before we do, it's important to remember that context matters. Not everything I'm about to share with you will work every time with everyone in every situation. The point here is to have enough tools in your toolkit to serve you well when needed. Furthermore, it's not just what you say, but more importantly, how you say it. In other words, when communicating with a narcissist, remember that the energy you carry matters. In fact, it's everything. You want to be as calm, cool, collected, and detached as possible. Now, a good rule of thumb is to treat the exchange like a business transaction, no matter who the narcissist is. This means no sarcasm, no condescending tone, no cheap shots, and whatever you do, do not under any circumstances react to their provocations. In other words, zero display of emotion. I'm not saying this is easy to do, but with practice and some real healing and recovery under your belt, you can get good at this. And if you need help with that, there's a link in the description below where you can apply for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. Now, what you want to remember is this. You're simply delivering information and gathering data, period. Approach the exchange with that mindset, and whatever you do, stay cool. That in itself will change the game entirely. Next, think counterintuitively. Forget reasoning with this person, being heard, or getting your needs met. It's not going to happen. You have to keep in mind that when dealing with a person with a destructive narcissist personality pattern, you're not dealing with a reasonable, rational adult. What you're actually dealing with is an entitled, wounded child in an adult body with a seriously distorted perception of themselves, reality, and of course you. You're dealing with someone who will likely be willing to go to whatever lengths they deem necessary to provoke you, manipulate you, to hurt you, to get their way, to win the right fight, as well as to manipulate perceptions of others and to control and manipulate outcomes. And if they're resentful and motivated enough, they're also going to be willing to go to any lengths to seek revenge on you. Again, they'll be willing to do and say whatever it takes to that end. And when you know that up front, you can do whatever you need to do to take good care of yourself. The cold hard truth is, because narcissists are empathy impaired and lacking in conscience, they lack a fundamental moral compass. For that reason, they will go to lengths that you or I cannot even fathom or imagine in an attempt to be seen as either the hero or the victim of the story. But never ever are they even remotely responsible for the natural consequences of their own appalling attitude and behavior. They'll rewrite history as well as contrive situations and circumstances to suit themselves and the distortive narrative they're pushing. They manipulate, play head games, lie outright, and lie by omission, leaving great big chunks of the truth out of the story. So the point I'm making here is, forget showing up with your big heart and all of that love that you carry, expecting your high empathy nature to have an impact on them. Your highly empathic, kind, caring, and compassionate nature isn't going to put a dent in what's going on with the narcissist. So forget trying to become a better communicator, more understanding, more patient, tolerant, and long-suffering. Forget all of that. It's not going to work. You're not dealing with a reasonably sane and rational adult. So everything that you would normally bring to the table of a discussion with a relatively sane and healthy human isn't actually going to work with a narcissist. So drop all of that. What you want to do instead is the exact opposite. And that's what I mean by counterintuitive. Now, to shut them down, here's what you want to do. With as much of a detached, flatline, disinterested, unimpressed, and fully unfazed posture as you can possibly muster, use words and super short, succinct, simple statements like, for example, no, or no thank you. I'm not available. I can't do that. I won't do that. I'm not interested. The point being, the word no is a full and complete sentence. Once you've expressed it, there's nothing more to say. And if they persist, as narcissists tend to do, you simply say, I've already given you my answer. And silence, not another word. This is not a negotiation. This is not up for discussion. The energy you carry, your posture, your detached and unflappable attitude, and most importantly, the silence that follows will say all that needs to be said. Now, understandably, if this is new behavior for you, it might take a little practice. You might want to practice with a safe friend or in the mirror beforehand. But if you can practice delivering the information with zero emotion attached to it, with no high voltage, energetic intensity coming off of you, you'll eventually succeed in shutting the narcissist down once and for all. Remember, your goal is to remain as detached, flatline, clear, and succinct as possible, followed by silence. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable silence. So, for example, no. And breathe. Let the uncomfortable silence be what it is. Let the word or the short, clear statement land and let the silence do its thing. Your job is to breathe and stay in your body. Hold on to yourself. And remember, you're simply delivering information. This is a business transaction, right? You're approaching it with that mindset, no emotion. You can also say things like, I understand, or I see, or I hear you. I'll let you know. I'll get back to you. Let me see. Let me think about it. Or something as simple as a very flat line. Wow. And again, no sarcasm. Short, succinct, super clear, followed by silence. Silence can be your most powerful weapon when dealing with a destructive narcissist. So learn how to use it, because once you get past the discomfort of the silence, silence is by far more powerful than anything else you might say. So learn how to use it to your advantage, especially when dealing with someone who lands on the spectrum of destructive narcissism. The point being, we're looking to communicate as clearly as possible, and the message we're sending is this: you have zero power or influence over me. In other words, you're letting them know, you're wasting your time here. I'm not a good target. This is not going to end well for you. And most importantly, I'm not giving my power away. Not today, not to you, not now, and not ever. I promise you, when that is the message you send with crystal clear clarity to any individual who thinks it's a good idea to target you, the silence that follows is going to make them far more uncomfortable than you can even imagine. In addition, and where appropriate, and this isn't always going to be appropriate or work for you, but where appropriate, you can say something like, cool, or okay. I'm okay with that. That's fine with me. I don't care. And silence, not another word. Let it land. And if you really want to get your point across, you can also say something like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And silence. Watch the narcissist become completely unraveled when they realize they are fully and completely powerless over you. This is how you shut down a narcissist once and for all. When you start communicating like this, carrying that detached, flat line, I couldn't care less what you think or how you feel kind of energy and posture, communicating in this fashion, letting the silence be what it is, pretty soon they'll have to go find someone else to mess with, and you'll be left in peace, which is a beautiful thing. And as you probably already know, narcissists are perpetually disagreeable, which is one reason why communicating with them can be such a frustrating and painful experience. Once you're past the initial idealization phase, where you're being manipulated through love bombing, in other words, when they're on their best behavior and telling you just how wonderful you are, which, rest assured, will be short-lived. Once that initial honeymoon phase of the relationship passes, they will begin to show their true colors. And this is when you'll notice that their first instinct and knee-jerk reaction is to disagree, no matter what you say to them. When a narcissist says, "I disagree," simply say, "You don't disagree. You just wish it weren't true." And silence, not another word. Another thing you can do is ask them to repeat what they just said. This works really well when the narcissist says something that is completely nonsensical, a flat-out lie, or outright insane. Keep your cool and simply say, "Can you repeat that, please?" In repeating it, they'll be forced to hear themselves. And not always, but often, that will be enough to expose what they've just said for the complete and utter nonsense that it is. Once they've done so, just say, "I thought that's what I heard." And not another word. If, "Can you repeat that, please?" doesn't do the trick, simply ask, "Do you even hear yourself?" Or, "You should think about what you just said." Or, "I'll let what you just said slide this time, but don't let it happen again." And silence. You're shining a bright light on the undeniable insanity and often even cruelty of what they've just said to you. And you're giving them a chance to correct themselves. You're letting them know if they're mean or rude or dishonest just one more time, you're out. They've been forewarned. And when they test you, follow through. You'll often find this is all it takes for the narcissist to either back off or back down. The trick is to be super succinct and clear in your delivery. Stay calm, cool, and collected. No emotional outbursts, no dancing like a puppet on strings, no explaining yourself, no defending yourself, and no apologies. Be cool, detached, flatline, breathe, and hold on to yourself. When a narcissist is being unnecessarily negative, defensive, or mean-spirited, simply ask them, "You okay?" You'll inevitably get a defensive yes, and then simply say, "Oh," or "Okay," and not another word. The point has been made. Nothing more to say. Another one I love that was suggested by one of our viewers here on YouTube is this: duly noted. This one can be particularly helpful in professional situations. When you say duly noted, whenever they try to bait, insult, diminish, demean, or attack you, on the surface, it may sound like you've accepted whatever they've said, but in reality, you're actually telling them that you're documenting their behavior. Unless they're real dumb, this has to land. The message will be received. Now, if you've spent any time around narcissists, you know all about their lack of discretion, non-existent boundaries, and penchant for toxic gossip. Despite appearances to the contrary, narcissists are insecure. And insecure people love to be in the know and love to share deeply personal info about others, even if it's a complete fabrication and they're flat out making it up. An excellent response when they're sharing personal or troubling details about another person's life is simply to say, "That's none of my business." Or, "That sounds like a personal problem. Perhaps you should keep that to yourself." And this works well when they're gossiping about others, but it also works well when they're oversharing about themselves. And there really isn't much they can say in response. So again, let the silence that follows do its thing and let the message land. Other options when the narcissist is being antagonistic are simply statements like, "That's interesting," and silence. Or, "Interesting you see it that way." Or, "I understand you feel that way." Or, "It's your choice to believe that. I can't control what you choose to believe, or think, or say." Or, when they're coming at you, simply say, "When you're in a better mood, you can talk to me then. I'll walk away." Or, "I don't allow people to talk to me like that." And remember, this must be said with confidence and certainty, followed by silence. You can also say something like, "Let's just end this now before it gets worse." And again, walk away, leave the room, leave the house. Remove yourself from the dynamic, period. End of story. Other options are saying something like, "I understand you're upset," and silence, not another word. Or, "Let's talk about this when you're calmer." Or, "I don't choose to have this conversation." Or, "The subject is off limits." You need to reevaluate the way you speak to people. You need to reevaluate the way you speak to me. And again, walk away, leave. Take your power back and simply remove yourself. It can be as simple as, "I don't like that," and walk away. End of discussion. You can also straight up call them out by asking a direct question like, for example, "Are you trying to start an argument?" When they're attacking you or your character, simply say something like this: "You're entitled to your opinion of me. I have no right to try to control how you choose to see me." And silence. Or, "I don't accept your definition of me." Or, "That's your choice." Or, "You're entitled to your opinion." Another one of my personal favorites is guilt peddling and playing the pity card are not going to work anymore. Or, "This is non-negotiable." In other words, "This is not a negotiation. I'm not negotiating with you." Or, "That's not going to work for me." Or better yet, "We clearly see this differently, and I'm okay with that." Or, "We obviously remember things differently, and I can live with that." Or, "Yelling and threatening are not going to solve anything." Or, "Okay, have a nice day." Smile politely, turn on your heel, and walk away. Boom! Works like a charm. Now that we've covered what to say to a narcissist to shut them down, I'm going to touch on some things you can say to their so-called well-intended and ever so concerned entourage, otherwise known as flying monkeys, little minions, spineless enablers, and cowardly devotees. If you've been narcissistically abused, you know exactly who I mean. So when the toxic enablers come at you with their feigned compassion, concern, pretending to have your best interest at heart, simply say, "Thank you for your concern. To be clear, the decisions I make in the spirit of self-care and self-preservation are actually not your concern. But thanks anyway." And silence, not another word. You can also say, I've told you that I'm not open to having this discussion with you. I'd appreciate it if you'd respect my boundaries. Or, actually, I don't owe you an explanation. And silence. Or, this is not a conversation that I feel I need to have with you. I'd appreciate it if you'd respect my right to privacy. Or, I can appreciate that you believe you're in possession of all the facts. I also know with absolute certainty that in fact, you are not. And silence, not another word. Or, actually, I'm not interested in having this conversation with you. Actually, I'm not open to discussing this with you, but thanks for asking. This topic of conversation is not open for discussion. This is not a negotiation. I've already given you my answer. And silence, not another word. With all due respect, that's none of your business. Delivered in a detached, businesslike, non-emotional, flatline, clear, and succinct manner, while holding the posture of dignity and self-respect, teaches others very quickly what they can and cannot get away with you. I also suggest that you practice using these strategies when it doesn't matter so much, so that when it does matter, when the stakes are high, you'll be more able to deliver the message with confidence and certainty. And if you'd like to dive deeper into this subject, be sure to watch my video, Say This to a Narcissist, as well as how to end a conversation with a narcissist politely and leave without being rude. How can Tamie M Coaching help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get my new video every Friday. Number 2, watch my free web class by clicking on the link in the description below. You'll learn about my personal journey and professional experience through decades of research specific to healing and recovery from codependency and narcissistic abuse. You'll also learn about some powerful strategies that you can begin to use today. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, and you'd like to be supported by a stellar community of like-minded people who are focused on solutions that actually work, you can learn more about my 8-week transformational coaching program, the Freedom Class, by going to TamieMCoaching.com and clicking on programs and reviews for all the details. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to break free from painful relationship patterns permanently and actually make lasting progress in your healing and recovery, go to TamieMCoaching.com and click on Apply Now to learn how to become a client.